Today I just wanted to talk about a little bit about how white supremacy is molding our children. I, I routinely look over my son's schoolwork. I have an 18 or 8 year old, sorry, jeez, that's in school right now. And I take some of his, papers and I kind of look at what they're teaching him. And what I've noticed is they are prepping our children to be slaves. They're pretty much giving them that mindset and teaching them at a very young age to be submissive to white supremacy and to look at white people as their savior and their heroes and to know their place and to know that they are below white people. And it's really sickening. I think even with um, the media and TV and shows and cartoons, you really have to pay a lot of attention to what the message is that video or cartoon or school assignment is sending to your child, because it's usually something that is pushing the white supremacist agenda, and you might not really notice it right off the back. And I know that if you're a young child, you're not going to notice it. My son got sent home, this paper, and was just like kind of a game where you fill in the word, and it was talking about George Washington, and it referred to him as a hero. And I think anyone that has actually looked into George Washington would quickly find out that he was not a hero, that he was in fact a white supremacist terrorist. And for them to be prepping our young black children to believe that these people are their heroes is very damaging to their psyche. And what it concerns me is I did meet with his teacher and talk to her about this. And when you do, and you should really be looking into what your children are taught, and you really should be meeting with teachers and talking to them about what your expectations are and what subjects they're not allowed to shove down your child's throat. And I did, talk to my son's teacher about it. And when you do, you realize they'll really back out of any responsibility when it comes to regards of what they're teaching your kids, especially if it's something negative. If you are going in there and you're praising them and telling them what a great job and you're so happy that they're teaching your child this, they would just soak it up. But when it's something that you're bringing to their attention that's completely not right, even if it's something that they know is a lie, when they're talking about specifically history, they kind of try to wiggle their way out of it, and she did. She tried to blame it on the district or anyone that wasn't her. And we have to not let them off the hook, because and what I tried to explain to her is I don't care who wrote the textbooks, and I don't care what the district says, because the districts aren't sitting there shoving it down my son's throat. I'm telling her, you're supposed to be an educator and you should know what you're teaching these children. And if it is not true, then don't teach it. And I feel like it's kind of, school is meant, and when it was, designed to benefit white children, it is designed to push the white supremacist agenda. And when they're taking our young children, 5-year-olds, 6-year-old, and they're pushing this white agenda on them, this is lowering their self-esteem, and this is lowering their self-worth, and this is raising the white children's self-esteem, and like making the white children feel good about themselves and know that they're important. And in turn, they're teaching our black children that they're not important. And we have to put a stop to this, because when they're teaching our children at such a young age, that's when our children's minds are are being built, and the neurons in their brains are connecting, and they're figuring out who they are as a person. And when you're pushing such negativity and such lies on them, they're building this they're building kind of a platform to tell your kids later that, you know, that they're bad and there's something wrong with them, and that it's not white supremacy that's the problem. It's you that's the problem. It's black people that's the problem. And if you've learned all your life that white people are great and all these people in the past were awesome, and you know, Christopher Columbus was great because he discovered America, then your kid's gonna be pretty confused and feel pretty negatively about his or herself, because now they've been taught all their life that Christopher Columbus is a hero and that George Washington is someone they should look up to. And then later on, it's kind of they're told that they were brought over as slaves, or right now some of them are trying to say migrant workers, which we all know is insane. But when they're telling our children this, we have to think about why would they want to tell our children that these people are heroes, right? So I think there's two parts to that. One, they're telling you that white people are awesome and amazing and they discovered everything, and you know, these are people that you should really look up to. And then the second one is, I think, is trying to tell the black people and black children, because our next generation, they want to make sure that they're more susceptible to the white supremacist agenda. And so they're teaching them that, you know, you're not rich and you're not in these great jobs, not because of white supremacist terrorism, and not because of discrimination, and not because, you know, anything unfair. You're just, you know, the black people are just bad, and they're just not as smart, and they're lazy, and they don't want to work as hard. And if you're a child and you've looked at this for years and you've been prepped by white supremacists, because most of our children are being taught by white supremacists, and they're not going to have, you know, KKK on, or swastika on their shirt, or, you know, a cloak over their heads. So you know, they'll smile in your face, and you'll think that they're the greatest people in the world. And even they might not know they're white supremacists, but they are. And they live in a system that tells them they're supreme. And all the white children that are going to school and learning the same stuff as your children are learning that they're supreme, that they're superior, that they invented everything. And, you know, they didn't. You know, even like when my son asked me, you know, today, he asked if Albert Einstein was the smartest person in the world, and because that's what they're telling him. And for me, logically, I told him no, because there's no way of knowing this stuff. There's no way of knowing, and I don't want my son to think that a white person is the smartest person in the world, because that's just not true. And that was the smartest person in existence, because we all know that's not true. But it's very important for us to teach our kids to kind of combat what is being taught to our children, and be really involved, and